The fire that shouldn't have been touched asterisk. The air was quiet that morning on planet Ryan. Too quiet for a world that held 6 thriving human colonies. Birds had not sung, machines had not hummed, and the sky, instead of blue, had turned a strange shade of orange. Captain Leah Voss stood near the edge of the colony's watchtower, sipping recycled water and watching the clouds darken. She had seen war before, but something about this morning made her skin feel cold, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Then the first blast came. It wasn't a missile, but a beam clean, hot and bright enough to split metal like paper. The sky lit up with falling debris as the colony's outer towers crumbled. Leah dropped her cup, ran to the comms room, and shouted into the system, "We're under attack." This isn't a drill. But before the warning reached half the stations, the enemy fleet was already over them. Dark, oval-shaped ships with no markings moved in silence. No message, no demand, no symbol of peace or war, just destruction. Entire districts went up in flames, families vanished in seconds, and every human defense was crushed. These weren't pirates or mercenaries. They were something worse, something prepared. As the colony's last defense tower fell, Leah crawled through rubble to reach a locked console beneath the science wing. There, hidden under old layers of stone, she found the place her grandfather had warned her about, the mountain base. Before he died, Dr. Elias Voss had left her a simple message on an old datapad. If the mountain breaks, run and don't look back. But she wasn't running now, not when everything was already gone. Her hands trembled as she placed the scanner on the rock's surface, revealing a hidden vault door with ancient seals. Symbols glowed red, and the ground beneath her feet started to vibrate. Inside the vault, something was waking up. Meanwhile, the alien fleet began scanning the mountains, their sensors searching for energy spikes. One of their drones fired a test blast into the cliff wall, just a test. Nothing more, but the reaction was immediate. A tremor surged through the valley, and a roar echoed from deep below the stone. Not a machine sound, not an earthquake. This was alive. Even the Shirak scouts paused, unsure of what they had triggered. Then, fire exploded from a hidden cave mouth, melting the closest drone midair. From the heart of the mountain, a creature with wings made of black crystal and scales like glowing armor soared into the sky. Its eyes burned red, and steam followed its breath. The dragon had awakened. Captain Leah could barely stand as the vault door split open behind her. Dozens of lights blinked on, and a voice spoke in the dark, mechanical but calm. Ember Protocol. Activated Dragon Force detected bonding interface ready. She turned slowly, her eyes wide, her voice barely a whisper. "We weren't supposed to touch this fire," she said. But the fire had already risen, what the Shirak couldn't control. The Shirak commander stared at the wreckage of their scout drone, its pieces still glowing red from the heat. He hissed in his native tongue, something guttural and sharp, not meant for ears, but for command. Their weapons had destroyed cities. Their fleets had broken shields. But this fire? It wasn't from humans. It was older, wilder, and it did not follow rules. Above the broken mountain, a second shadow moved, then a third. Wings stretched wide like black sails, glowing with orange veins under stone-tough skin. The dragons were not just alive, they were multiplying, and they were angry. Sensors screamed warnings as more heat signatures exploded across the region. From inside the base, Leah watched the mountain shake as the Ember interface lit up the chamber. Its calm voice guided her forward. "You have genetic clearance," it said. Initiating ancient protocol. A circular platform rose beneath her, metal shifting like liquid, and a small needle pricked her hand. Human biosignature confirmed first writer in 208 years. Prepare for synchronization. Leah didn't understand it all, but the pain in her chest was gone, replaced by something wild, something alive and pulsing through her blood. She could feel the dragon, not just see it. It circled above, and for a moment, its eyes locked with hers like it knew her name outside. The Shirak made a mistake, thinking it was just another beast. They launched their thermal nets and plasma torpedoes. The nearest dragon took 3 direct hits and disappeared into the smoke. A moment of silence followed, then a roar tore through the clouds. The beast came back angrier, wings burning with white flame, and slammed into the nearest warship. Metal bent like paper, the ship fell in pieces, and flames swallowed the sky. Leah climbed onto the launch platform. Guided by Ember's calm directions, armor formed around her legs and chest, part metal, part something organic, like it was alive. "This is not control," Ember said. "This is unity." The dragon descended like thunder, landing with power that shook the cliff. Leah stepped forward, and to her shock, it lowered its head, waiting. She touched the glowing scale between its eyes, and the connection was instant images, memories, roars, pain, and peace. She gasped, but the dragon didn't flinch. They moved. As one, she climbed on, and it launched upward. Breaking through low clouds with explosive force, Shirak fighters locked on, but they couldn't keep up, not with a creature that didn't fly by engine, but by instinct. Leah leaned forward, and fire bloomed from the dragon's mouth like a cannon, burning one more enemy fighter into falling ash. Above her, other dragons were already engaging, some with outriders, some finding their partners. Among the surviving humans, the sky became chaos, but this time it was humanity's chaos. Leah grinned inside the helmet, her voice firm. "You think you broke us?" She whispered to the stars. "You only woke up what you should have let sleep." Behind her, Ember gave the final confirmation. Dragon's online planetary defense reactivation complete. War had returned, but now, so had the fire humanity. Buried long ago, when the sky burned in our name, the sky was no longer a battlefield. It had become a storm of wings and fire. The Shirak fleet, once proud and untouchable, now twisted and burned as dragonfire tore through their ranks. They had come to conquer, to erase human colonies with coal machines and silent bombs, but now they ran, fleeing from the very flames they had awakened. Captain Leah Voss didn't chase them for revenge. She chased them because she was now something more. With Ember in her ear and the bond to her dragon flowing through her blood, she wasn't just a soldier anymore. She was a rider chosen by a force that slept too long. Her dragon's name pulsed inside her mind, not in words but in feeling, power, fury, and protection. 3 more dragons flew beside her, each paired with a survivor like her, a former miner, a scientist, and even a child barely 12 each, called and claimed by a dragon of their own. The ancient system had judged their hearts, not their rank, and together, they rose through the black smoke and into the high orbit where the last Shirak command ship tried to escape. "Leah," Ember's voice crackled softly, "target is preparing hyperspace jump. Then we burn it before it runs," she replied without fear. She leaned forward. The dragon responded, wings folding and body stretching into a deadly dive. The others followed, glowing lines tracing across their bodies like ancient war paint. The Shirak captain screamed orders, launching every missile in storage. But the dragons didn't dodge. They flew straight through the fire. Flames licked their armor-like scales, and plasma bolts shattered against them like stones on steel. One dragon screamed in pain, but didn't fall. It only burned brighter. As Leah reached striking distance, she gave the Shirak their last warning. She activated a long-range frequency, open to every enemy ship still listening. Her voice was steady, cold, and filled with ancient fire. "You bombed our homes without mercy," she said. "You thought we were alone. You were wrong. Congratulations," she finished. Now the dragons are awake, her dragon roared, jaws glowing with white-hot heat. It unleashed a stream of pure energy straight into the Shirak command ship's core. The explosion was silent in space, but brilliant. The blast shattered 2 other ships trying to retreat and sent the rest fleeing in every direction. The battle was over in minutes. The Shirak fled the Ryan system, leaving wreckage, silence, and the rise of something new back on the surface. Leah landed her dragon near the ruins of the capital. Others joined her wounded. Tired but alive, the humans looked up at their dragons not with fear but awe. The Ember interface spoke again, this time not just to her, but to all human frequencies. Planetary defense reactivation, Phase 2, it announced. New riders detected Guardians reinstated colonial status, protected. Leah stepped down, hand still on her dragon's warm scale. For the first time in weeks, she smiled, not because they had won, but because they were no longer forgotten. The dragons were real, the bond was real, and now no one would ever dare burn humanity again, not while the sky still burned in their name.